minutes and you can just go play with yourself. Frank?
We are talking Cocaine Werewolf, not to be confused with Cocaine and Werewolves, which is a different movie. This one is directed by Mark Polonia, a prolific B-movie director, and of course with the moderate success of Cocaine Bear, there have been a slew of kind of parody and homage style movies, even from Polonia himself. But this is Cocaine Werewolf. So the story here, it focuses on this guy who is a kind of stockbroker, and he's basically in an Uber, and this Uber stops at this particular kind of warehouse or something, and there has been a drug deal in there that has been attacked by a werewolf, and our kind of trader, this businessman, ends up taking this cocaine and getting infected with this kind of werewolf curse, and now whenever he takes cocaine and his heart starts going, he ends up kind of turning into a werewolf, and then effectively it follows him as he's wandering around. He ends up kind of meeting a bunch of filmmakers who are making a kind of killer clown low budget movie. What will happen? You will have to watch the movie and find out. So let us discuss. Now, if you are familiar with Mark Polonia movies, you are going to know what to expect here. Very cheap, very deliberately schlocky, lots of returning faces, Jeff Kirkendale, titles Himmelberger and the like, all make appearances here. Very silly, not really concerned with having any type of genuine production value. And kind of, it's almost like a one-joke movie. It's, look at this schlocky, silly movie, isn't it silly? So, are you going to be a fan of that? What I would say in the plus column here, I think our central character, this kind of, this trader, this Wall Street trader, wherever he's supposed to be, his character was reasonably interesting, I would say. A little bit different from your regular kind of leading man to a certain degree. And, you know, his acting, in comparison maybe to some of the other actors here, was a little stronger. A little bit more of a grounded character in some ways, which made it a little bit more compelling. And I would say the movie starts relatively strong with this kind of the idea here of this drug deal gone bad. I mean, it's all low budget silliness, but it's still a relatively compelling kind of first 15-20 minutes or so, I suppose, of the movie. There's actually one or two sort of reasonable shots here of the kind of the werewolf or parts of the werewolf. Now, the actual werewolf costume itself is just effectively a rubber mask, which is funny because there's a scene early on where a guy is dressing up as a werewolf with a different rubber mask, which is even cheaper than the kind of the actual rubber mask they use for this. So you think, okay, the mask that is for the actual werewolf here is a little bit better than this kind of shop-bought kind of style werewolf mask, but it still is kind of, you know, low budget, shall we say. And it kind of reminds you a little bit of almost like the Incredible Hulk, the 70s one, where this guy's getting, you know, his heart rate's going and he sort of turns into this kind of monster. So overall, I would say this is slightly better than some Polonia movies that I have watched. On the flip side, of course, it's a lot of the same stuff. It's very, very cheap, very quickly put together. The acting is never kind of a strong point in these movies. The effects, I've already mentioned the werewolf. I'd say it's not bad, but you know, don't be expecting a full-on kind of transformation or anything like that. Or it kind of just looks like a mask with a static mouth which is constantly open and things like that. But then we have digital kind of blood and things, which obviously looks really kind of fake and out of place in these sort of things. And then I have to say the actual movie, once our werewolf gets involved with these filmmakers, gets quite dull, and there's actually quite a lot of scenes which just seem to be dragged out, to kind of pad out the running time and make it a kind of a feature-length movie. And I feel the some of the more fast-paced energy that we had in the first 10-15 minutes, it dissipates and ends up being a kind of quite dull affair at the end of the day. I would say in terms of Mark Polonia movies, this is probably slightly more entertaining than some, but if we are just talking as a general movie experience here, this is still a below average movie. I think those of you who like very, very silly schlockiness, there's a little bit more to enjoy than maybe some of his work here, but overall it's still below average for me. It's a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Please do let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.